Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Johnny Drain. I'm the co-founder of a UK food tech startup called WNWN Food Labs. And I'm going to be here talking about my company and what we're doing to innovate in the world of chocolate and to future-proof chocolate. My background is as a scientist. I did my PhD in material science at the University of Oxford, and I've since spent the best part of a decade working for the best restaurants in the world and the best food brands in the world. This is my co-founder, I run Pack, and our company is now about 2 years old. There you go. So since starting WNWN Food Labs, we've talked to thousands of people about chocolate. A small number dislike it. Some people are horribly allergic to it, but by and large, most people love it, and for good reason. Many have strong memories of chocolate. It's very mysterious food stuff. It's very emotional. My own father used to buy the red Ritter Sports, the marzipan. He would give me a segment, my sister a segment, and he would eat the rest. People love the flavor. People love the texture, the way it melts in your mouth. The huge range of flavors from sweet milk chocolates through to complex, bitter, dark chocolates. But what makes chocolate chocolate? That's the question I asked myself at the start of this journey, which was about 6 years ago, and one that's since taken me and my company to the forefront of chocolate science and innovation. Now, oddly, that journey started for me with a potato, a humble spud, as we would say in Britain, or an innocent kartoffel. By the way, apologies for not doing this in German. It would be horrible if I tried to speak German. But more on the potato story later. First of all, I'll give you a quick history lesson. So European brands are often lauded for creating the best chocolate, and for good reason. We make very, very good chocolate in Europe. I won't say anything negative or positive about American chocolate. Some people say you can't say anything positive about American chocolate. But definitely the history, the start of this story starts in South and Central America, where Theobroma cacao is native to. People have been cultivating it there for several thousands of years. Initially, it was served as a drink, very bitter, very frothy, and it's been used in ceremonies and rituals, and it's long been a crop that has very strong religious and cultural significance. It's even been used as a currency in some places. It was transported to Europe, where people started to sweeten it with sugar and honey, but it was still predominantly a drink, until the invention of the chocolate, the cocoa press, which separated the fat from the cocoa solids, and thereby allowed for the invention of solid chocolate bars, which we now know and love. European nobility loved this new chocolate, and chocolate houses, social, communal places, sprang up in the same way that coffee houses sprang up at a similar point in time. Zooming forward a few hundred years, we now sit in what I would describe as a golden age for chocolate science. We now, for the first time, understand why our chocolate tastes the way it does. We understand how to make it more chocolatey. We understand the role of fats, of mouthfeel, of the perception of sweetness, and how to play with those things. So the story so far is clear. You love chocolate. Here in Germany, you eat about 9 kilos per person per year. That's the number 2 in Europe, so well done, everyone. I love chocolate. My company is trying to disrupt a market which will be worth $300 billion by the year 2030. And indeed, the world loves chocolate. We're seeing 6% annual growth through to 2030. However, whilst chocolate is perceived to be a very sweet, perhaps innocent treat, it holds some dark secrets. Cocoa can only grow in plus minus 10 degrees of the equator, and 2/3 of the world's cocoa, and therefore chocolate, comes from just 2 countries in West Africa, Ghana and Ivory Coast. 2/3, that's a lot. Now, the production of cocoa in those countries involves, and this is a conservative estimate, the use of about 1.5 million child and slave laborers. Moreover, that cocoa production has incurred widespread deforestation. About 80% of the West African rainforest has been lost since the 1990s. And that deforestation, of course, comes with a huge carbon footprint. Per kilo of chocolate, there's about 11 times the carbon emissions versus a liter or a kilo of cow's milk. Furthermore, chocolate uses an awful lot of water. Climate change is exacerbating these issues. We're seeing now excess rainfalls, which cause more disease and disease in new places. Farmers are having to move where they grow their crop, incurring further deforestation. And there are periodic droughts, which are further causing problems. So we have a broken supply chain that is failing. We have decreasing supply. We have increasing demand. That's crunching, and we're seeing increasing prices. In 2023 alone, we've seen in some markets 25% increase in cocoa and chocolate prices. We're seeing things in the futures, cocoa futures markets, things like 46-year highs. What does that mean then? Well, it means we have an uncertain chocolate present. This year, a Belgian supermarket halted selling one of the best-known chocolate brands in the world due to post-agreement price hikes that the supplier Mondelez blamed on unprecedented market circumstances. What does that mean for the future? Well, it's also uncertain. Based on current price rises, we could end up seeing beloved chocolate bars like Ritter Sport hitting something like 20 euros a bar by the year 2045. So chocolate may become an unaffordable luxury, or certainly unaffordable to many people in the world. Now, I don't want to see that. I want to see a future where everyone can carry on enjoying cocoa and chocolate, the flavors we know and love. I want to see a world where we have cocoa and chocolate, but that all of it is sustainably and ethically sourced. So, what do we do? Well, it brings us back to the start, this question, what makes chocolate chocolate? And in many ways, making chocolate is alchemy. It's transformation. To make chocolate, you grow your cocoa beans, you ferment them, then you roast them, and then you melange them, you grind them with sugar and other fats. And at the end, if all's gone well, if you're good at it, you end up with a chocolate bar. And when you open that chocolate bar, there might be 100 to 500 chemical compounds, taste compounds, aroma compounds that lend themselves to creating that experience of chocolate that we all love. So if cocoa production is causing great harm in parts of the world, which we know it is, and if we know what flavor compounds are in a bar of chocolate, which we also know, why not create a bar of a chocolate alternative from something that, simply put, is not a cocoa bean? Well, that was my big idea 6 years ago. I was boiling a pan of potatoes at my home, and the steam was coming off, and I leant over. I don't know why I leant over and smelled it, but I did. And the steam smelled like hot chocolate. And a little light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, there must be something in the skins of the potatoes that's found in chocolate. And then I also thought, well, could I make chocolate out of potatoes? Now, that's not exactly what we've done, but it was the start of the story. We've since moved on, and we created our cocoa-free chocolate from other sustainable, ethical ingredients. If there are any beer drinkers or whiskey drinkers in the room, you might know that this is barley, and this is one of the hero ingredients that we use. So when we set about innovating, we set ourselves a series of simple but challenging criteria. The first was taste. It has to be delicious. If it's not delicious, then consumers won't want to eat it, and chocolate companies, confectionery companies won't want to buy it off us. The second point was ingredients. They have to be sustainable and ethical. There's no point replacing one unethical or problematic, let's say, ingredient in a supply chain with another one. So we have to work with ingredients that have certain credentials. Thirdly, this product has to be scalable and widely scalable. We want to work with the biggest and best confectionery and chocolate brands in the world, and we want to be able to plug our technology and innovation and products into their functionality. And that will allow us to have the sorts of impacts on these issues that we want to have. And so that's what we've done. Our cocoa-free chocolate alternative tastes, snaps, bakes, freezes, melts, just like conventional chocolate. These are some of the many things we've made with it. Chocolate chip cookies, chocolate bars, ice creams, chocolate cakes, chocolate mousses, you name it, we've done it. From milk chocolates to dark chocolates, we're creating a sweet of products that can be used as a one-for-one replacement. Now, innovation is many things to many people, but I believe firstly that it can be used as a key part of the storytelling of brands, telling people about why you're innovating and how you're innovating. But secondly, I believe that innovation can be beautiful. These next 3 images represent the work of our team for the last 2 years. And as simple as they are, they're just pictures. The products that you're going to see didn't exist anywhere in the world 2 years ago. This is innovation, and this, for me, is beautiful. This, by the way, was the world's first cocoa-free chocolate Easter egg that we released earlier this year. But how does innovation work? What does it look like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like other than a pan of boiling potatoes? Well, I give a lot of talks about design and creativity and creative constraints. And at WNWN, we didn't believe that we needed to reinvent the wheel. Chocolate is amazing. Chocolate is beautiful. The process of chocolate is phenomenal. We wanted to take inspiration from it. Remember I said when you make chocolate, you grow your cocoa beans, you ferment them, you roast them, you melange them. Well, we wanted to take inspiration from that and also inspiration from ingredients that are out there already in the natural world. There's been documented as edible about 200,000 plant species, 200,000. And the world globally, we consume 90% of our calories from just 15 of those. 200,000 things we can eat, 90% of our calories come from 15. So we are terrible, human beings, we are terrible at digging deep, at exploiting the potential of the natural world. And we want to unlock the potential of these many ingredients that perhaps have not had their potential unlocked yet. So we look for substrates. WNWN's innovation, we start with the substrate identification. So we work with barley, amazing rich tradition of making beer, of making whiskey here in Northern Europe. We also work with carob, again, rich tradition in Southern Europe and around the Mediterranean, a very sustainable ingredient. Secondly, we look for novel ways to process these things. Fermentation, just as it is used to make beer and bread, and indeed chocolate, we look for novel fermentation processes to tease out these flavor compounds from our barley and our carob and various other things. And by combining those two things, the right ingredients and the right fermentation processes, we can create that same profile of flavor compounds that we find in a chocolate bar. And so from natural ingredients, we can tease out chocolatiness in a very holistic and wholesome manner. So what are we doing with this innovation? Who are we trying to help? This is not an official collaboration. This was merely an idea. But look, we want to see a future where chocolate doesn't become an unaffordable luxury. And to prevent us having to spend 20 euros on a chocolate bar, we want to produce a price-stable alternative that can be used perhaps purely as a chocolate alternative, but also in collaboration as a hybrid with cocoa. Something that's more resistant to supply chain issues and climate shock. And fundamentally, we want to future-proof and make the future of snacking more sustainable and ethical. So we're creating a suite of products, one-for-one replacements for chocolate. The same taste, but with ethical and sustainable transformations, and thereby helping FMCG brands reach their sustainability goals. So our dream is the same chocolate and confectionery brands that you've always loved, but perhaps using our cocoa-free chocolate, which has 80% less carbon emissions, 90% less water, and is free of slave and child labor. Now, we're not alone, but we're certainly leading this innovation. We were founded in 2021. In 2022, we became the first company in the world to launch a cocoa-free chocolate. We have some competitors, really they're allies. They're all doing the same thing for the same good reasons. Planet A Foods are based here in Munich and are doing a very good job. They released their first product this year. So just finishing up, for us, the future doesn't stop at chocolate. I like to call it the science of delicious brown stuff. Coffee, vanilla, tea. All of these issues, all of these ingredients have similar ethical and sustainability issues, and we plan to address those as well. However, for now, we're focused on chocolate, and we're focused on using chocolate innovation and flavor transformation to help the best FMCG brands in the world be more responsible. It's a win for producers, It's a win for consumers. It's a win for the planet. It's win-win. Thank you.